Welcome to What the F is Happening with Julia Dietz. Today's the day where I share how I got a pilonidal cyst and the surgery that I recently had to get rid of it. If you're watching this video because you have a pilonidal cyst or an infected pilonidal cyst and you're trying to figure out what the F to do, hopefully this video helps you. Let's jump in, shall we? I found myself in the emergency room at 1 a.m. about 3 weeks ago asking what was happening to my butt. I could not sit, I could not lay on my back. My pain was tremendous. The worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. Let's rewind about a week, shall we? I was on a traveling bender. I was traveling every single week. I was on a plane, a train, an Uber, car. I was pretty much doing every form of transportation but walking. I was feeling a little run down from my travels and I decided that rather than going to the gym and lift weights, it was probably a good idea to go to a reformer Pilates class. Cool girls go to Pilates classes. That's what they do. I don't make up the rules and I'm not a cool girl. So I had no business being in this Pilates class, but that's what I did. After sitting for a month, I thought, what the hell, why not? Let's go hit up solid core. This was the worst thing I could have ever done. The next morning I wake up and I am in excruciating pain thinking, wow, I literally bruised my tailbone from one Pilates class. Wednesday, got home from my travels, went to the Pilates class. Thursday, woke up feeling kind of like, ouch, I bruised my tailbone. Friday, I'm in excruciating pain. So of course, I do what any other young person does. I start spiraling on the internet. I'm watching YouTube videos, TikToks, Facebook, WebMD, and I have decided and self-diagnosed myself that my tip of my tailbone is in the wrong place. No surprises here, but it wasn't. But because I thought it was, my boyfriend said, why don't we go to a physical therapist or, I don't know, my chiropractor? I do not like the snap, crackle, pop. I do not want to go to a chiropractor. I'm sure they're great. I'm terrified. I went in there super nervous telling him, hey, I think my tailbone's out of place. This is what hurts, blah, blah, blah. This guy is literally pounding on me and doing things that hurt so freaking bad that I had a little bit of relief because now I had pain in different parts of my body. Saturday morning, I wake up and I'm like, today's the day I go to the emergency room. I look at my boyfriend and I say,
I need to go to the emergency room right now.
By the time we get to the emergency room, we're starting to notice that like a small like welt or bubble per se has formed on the top of my buttocks region, the very tippy top of my crack. This is so embarrassing, but you know what? I'm doing this for you. I get to the emergency room at 1 a.m. and I was like, oh, every time I've gone to the emergency room, you sit and you wait and wait and wait. And I was in no business of sitting. They take me right back. They take my insurance card. They send me in, they pull down my pants, they go, there she is. You, my friend, have an infected pilonidal cyst. A what? They had to put local anesthesia?
Local anesthesia.
Whatever. They put 2 needles in my butt, that long. I was screaming and sobbing all at the same time because that was so bad. They drained my cyst, they pack the cyst full of gauze, they give me 2 different antibiotics to take 4 times a day for a week. And they send me on my merry way. Trying to get the gauze that they had packed full of my little cyst out of my tailbone was not fun. I was in the shower trying to get it out by myself and I couldn't. I felt like there was glass being broken through a crevice of my body that did not exist 20 hours prior. I start looking at the emergency room papers and I'm thinking, wait, this is weird. It says I need to go follow up for surgery. They did not tell me when I was in the emergency room. They were not like, hey, we're draining it, but you have to get surgery. Nobody told me that. And I'm assuming you're watching this video and you're trying to get as much information as possible. Well, you've come to the right place. I did what all of you are doing is scour the internet on these different surgeries. And I found that there were 2 most common surgeries that were done. The first surgery is an open wound surgery. It literally is exactly what it sounds like because back in the day they used to do this surgery and they would cut the cyst out right on like your butt crack area, tailbone area, and they would sew you together. And because it's such a flexible, tender area of the body, the stitches would just break open. And so all of these doctors allegedly were like, this is ridiculous, they're getting so mad, why don't we just leave them with an open wound? Like, I am not a doctor, I'm not a medical student, nor will I ever be. I'm just sharing my story. But why would you ever willingly sign up for a surgery that they're like, yeah, we're just gonna leave you with an open wound. Don't even worry about it. It's completely normal. I just don't think that's very normal. I don't think it's normal at all. Option number 2, the flap. They literally call it the flap surgery, where they cut your butt open. Like, let's think about your cheeks. I'm gonna put down my little mic for a second. This is your butt. These are your cheeks. The flap, they basically cut a big lightning bolt, boom, 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 across your butt. They remove a large chunk of skin where the cyst was, and then they basically try to sew you back together. It is the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. If you go and you Google pilonidal cyst flap surgery, you will have nightmares. I decided that this was not gonna be my destiny. So I found that there's another way that they treat pilonidal cysts in other countries with a laser. It's not covered by insurance, but it's worth every single penny, in my opinion, and in my experience. So I went to go see my surgeon, Allen Kamrava in Beverly Hills. Cannot recommend him enough. I will put his information below. I went into his office and I explained my whole little journey. He looked at my butt, him and this medical student, and they were like, yeah,
You've got pilonidal disease. I'm like, oh, yippee, great.
he's like, listen, you really don't have to get surgery. He's like, you can, because this might never come back. It could come back in 2 weeks. It could come back in 6 years. It could come back whenever, because the cyst won't go away on its own, but it might never come back. The least invasive way to treat and get rid of a pilonidal cyst is by laser. This is not common in the US at all. This is very common in Europe, in the UK, pretty much everywhere else. So I was so relieved to find out that Dr. Kamrava had the laser and had done the surgery and was doing many of the surgeries every single week. The surgery literally took maybe an hour, and they didn't even put me out. They put me on some nitrous oxide, also known as
It's a laughing gas.
and then they did the surgery. They put some local anesthesia in the area, but I did not feel the big needles this time because I was in La La Land. I didn't have to take any type of painkillers. I only took extra strength Tylenol and ibuprofen, and I am 3 weeks out from the procedure and I am sitting. I can't lay on my back yet and I can't sit in certain ways, but I already feel so much better. And I really just felt like it was a good idea to make this video, because when I was going through this 3 weeks ago, I felt literally so helpless. I couldn't find surgeons that did it on the internet, and it really seemed like my only option was to have this super invasive surgery. So I'm here to tell you that's not the case, and there are other options, and hopefully find yourself in the emergency room or with a bruised tailbone that's not bruised and you're asking yourself what the f is happening. You find this video and this helps. So good luck, and I'm out.